Hello everybody, welcome back. This is the last video I am likely posting on this channel. I have another channel which I've been posting videos on, which I may link in the description below. And before I get into this, I also want to say I have allergies really bad, so I probably sound kind of sick. I probably sound a little weird, a little funky, so that's why. But in this last video, I thought it'd only be fitting to go on and share my entire life story because it's a crazy one, and I think it could help somebody out there. And most of all, what I want you to get from this video is that there is more for you out there. There is so much more for you out there. You can truly find happiness. You can truly find purpose in life. You can find peace in life. You can love life again, just like you did as a young kid. Just like how you felt as a young kid, you can feel that way again. You can see colors more vibrantly again. You can feel more things sensitively again, if that's even a word. You can live again. And this is my experience. And please, if you're feeling any kind of tug or urgency to watch this video, please listen to that feeling and watch it whole. I don't care about retention, I don't care about views. I'm not posting another video to this channel, and if I do, it's going to be some random Osu video, so I don't really care. I simply care about you, and this video is a letter to you. A final letter. A final one of these type videos for you, for your benefit, because I care about you. Let's set the scene with 2020. So 2020, during the midst of the pandemic, I was actually really enjoying life. I was traveling to all these different places with extremely cheap flight tickets because in case you guys didn't remember, nobody wanted to fly. Nobody wanted to fly, so they were insanely cheap. And so me and my brother would travel to LA, New York, Nashville, Miami, all these different American cities, just having fun because quite honestly, we didn't believe in COVID. We didn't believe in any of that. We didn't care, even if we did believe it. So the reason I'm starting this story in 2020 is because despite my life seeming all good at this time and amazing, I was deep into degeneracy, negativity, and my parents had just kicked me out, and now I'm living with my brother on the other side of the states. And I don't really have any purpose anymore because school was out due to the pandemic. I wasn't working, and so my life had no purpose, no distraction, no layer of my purpose, just nothing to work towards. And when your life has no greater purpose, the only purpose you have left is pleasure and distraction, or a combination of the two. Pleasure in order to feel something good about yourself, even if it's temporarily. Distraction to distract yourself from the deep thoughts, the deep feelings, the deep hate and negativity I was feeling on the inside, the deep unforgiveness, anger, the deep spiritual thoughts disgusted me, and I much prefer to see the world as just what it was, surface level. I didn't want to believe in the spiritual or anything deeper than myself and the world. I built my own relative morality, my own set of principles which weren't based on the objective design that we were created in. Anyways, I eventually moved back to my home state after a year of partying, fun, degeneracy, distraction, and while I enjoyed all of it, I knew there was absolutely no meaning in it, and it felt very worthless and meaningless. And it's now 2021, and I'm still without a purpose in life, but even further into things like lust, addiction, and just overwhelming sadness and anger. Those strongholds that I built up in 2020 got even worse, and now I'm deep into this just depression, addiction. I feel like everything and everyone is against me, and I felt like I had no one, or rather that no one had me. I started biting and stabbing myself, not as a weird habit, but to actually feel like literal pain. It's almost as if physical pain would make the mental and spiritual pain go away. And so, in that way, the physical pain felt very good because it eased the other much deeper and existential and pain that I didn't want to even confront. I hated myself, I hated who I was, my personality, I hated other people, and I sabotaged every relationship, every friendship. I think I sabotaged them secretly hoping that they might chase after me and make sure I'm okay. To seek that validation, which is perhaps rooted in childhood trauma. Because my parents never made sure I was okay when I was crying or hurt. They never cared for my feelings, they were permissive and only did what was convenient for them, which many of you could probably relate to. I started spending more time in darkness because darkness felt more comfortable to me than light. Literally, I'd take showers in the dark, I'd eat in the dark, I'd stay up late because the nighttime was just more comfortable than the daytime. I also wanted to be isolated from people and I didn't want to be around anybody. And, well, more people are out in the daytime. And so I found no peace in anything in life, but I did find solitude and comfort and numbness in the darkness, which is honestly just a physical manifestation of a spiritual state of what my life was like. I was dark. And it's sad because I used to be such a caring, soft, loving person, but then life and toxic relationships and friendships and situations and just the world all turned me into a more dark, hardened, bitter, isolated person. I began to listen to a lot of sad rap and angry rap, as well as hard metal. Just disgusting, like loud, hard metal. Which, after doing research into the music industry all these years later, is completely evil and brainwashed me into even more darkness, even more anger, hate, sadness, hurt, pain. It only made all those things worse. Although it felt good and comfortable to listen to, because this was all that I really knew. This darkness, sadness, was all that I really knew. And so I would feel out of place. I would feel uncomfortable listening to anything positive or good, which is so crazy to think about, because I know there's people watching this right now who feel that same way. They feel out of place listening to anything positive or good. They feel more comfortable in the darkness, in the anger, in the chaos. And so I got so deep into pleasure and distraction that it wasn't even making me feel good anymore. It wasn't doing anything. I was just numb. And so I began to go in the opposite direction. I began to starve myself. I began to hurt myself more. I stopped talking to anybody. I stopped playing anything. I didn't care anymore. I was sleeping outside. Eventually, I hated my life so much. Eventually, I hated my life so much that I planned my suicide. I was in my car one late night after working a super long shift at my work, and I was just overwhelmed with thoughts, feelings, emotions. I felt so kind of existential, I think the right word would be. Like my existence was pointless and it didn't matter at all. Like I was just an animal that would be dead and gone in due time. And that's life. I worked for 10 to 11 hours. That music is really loud, by the way. I worked for 10 to 11 hours for what? Like a bit of money? Like 10 to 11 hours of my life for what? And I had no purpose. I didn't belong anywhere or with anyone. Nobody cared about me. Nobody loved me or worried about me. I saw a vision of my mom crying over my death, which did actually make me feel some pain in my chest, but from the emotional pain it would cause her, which showed I wasn't completely gone. I wasn't completely mental, but at the same time I just didn't care regardless. I saw my life as pointless, directionless, and with no way out. I didn't think I would ever be happy or fulfilled at peace. I never thought I'd ever feel good about myself. I hated everything, all of it. I just wanted everything to go away. I wanted to be done. I saw no future, no exit, and because of that, I saw no reason to keep going whatsoever. And so there was no wiggle room anymore. There was no, oh, if I get this job, or oh, if I get this relationship, or if I become popular in school. None of that worked. None of it. And I saw no other exit. So I spent several hours in my car after my shift thinking about all of this. Just listening to dark, violent music to indulge in that darkness that I felt, to feel numbness and comfort. And I cried. I tried to feel pain, constant cutting, constant biting, constant crying, until eventually I would take my long 8-inch hunting knife and I'd put it at my throat. I was ready to bleed out and end it all. I was ready to end this meaningless life and move on to the next, whatever that would be. Something stopped me. I have no idea what it was, but something forced my hand. And I didn't believe in the spiritual, so I credited this to myself. But I genuinely, for the first time, felt like everything was going to be okay. At least for that moment. So I thought, okay, next time I will do it. And then I go inside my house and I fall asleep. Then my childhood best friend reaches out of nowhere. We hung out again, and eventually he asked me if I would like to come to church with him. I was like, okay. I mean, fine. I mean, I don't really care. I always had a stigma against church. I thought Christianity was dumb. I was like, okay, whatever. I'll go with you. It's a social thing. Cool. Why not? Whatever. No big deal. It's nothing to me. I ended up going, and then the next Sunday I'd go again and again and again, although I didn't like it at all. I only went because my best friend offered, and in fact I disliked it quite much. I quite literally find myself falling asleep in church. Think of this. I was so bored and repulsed. Is that even a word? Repulsed? Repelled? I don't know. I was so bored that I was falling asleep in the church. I wasn't even physically tired. Mentally, yes, but physically I was fine. But I'd literally be falling asleep. People would also tell me that, oh, Jesus loves you, and I think, okay, so I love me too. It meant nothing to me because I didn't believe in it being real. Eventually, his church holds a men's retreat camp type thing in the Cascade Mountains, and I thought, hey, that'd be cool. I have nothing better to do. I'll go with you. And keep in mind, I still reject Christianity, and I see it as stupid, hypocritical, and a waste of time. But I go, and Pastor Craig, I will never forget this guy. He talks about the importance of brotherhood and how often we sabotage ourselves from deep connection with other people. We sabotage ourselves from even thinking and feeling deep spiritual things from God because it scares us. It terrifies us. And he preaches about all of this, and I realized this was the first time I genuinely listened to a sermon. And this wasn't coming from like some dumb pastor. It was Craig, which was an older man that showed me love and compassion like nobody else did when I first met him. He would greet me with a smile and tell me things about myself I didn't even think about, but were true. He truly cared, and he truly was unconditionally just loving, which I've never experienced before. Even in church, it's not something you experience very often. And so I listened to his message, and I kept it in my heart for the rest of the camp. A few more months goes by, I get into the self-improvement community, which, to keep this very brief, I started taking more control over my own life and changing it for the better. And I figured that nobody's going to help me, so I have to help myself. And only I can do that, so I did. And so I learned and implemented habits that improved my life physically, mentally, and spiritually. And it did a lot for me, actually, I won't lie. It helped because the habits I were doing were things that were good, and good comes from God. And so I got closer to good by doing good and improving my life. But at the same time, I felt existential. I felt like I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I felt without purpose, hate for myself. I still got very negative, intrusive thoughts all the time. I was kind of miserable and unhappy still. I realized that no amount of working out will make me like myself. I realized that no amount of looks maxing or whatever, or my attention span will make me feel good. I then have a dream that changed my life forever. I had a dream about being out of my body and in this spiritual, like soul-like body realm type thing. I have a whole video talking about this dream, but in short, I felt the most peace, happiness, and joy I've ever felt in my life. All in this dream. It felt so real. I felt so sensitive to it. It felt so just unreal. Like, imagine the best feeling you ever felt times a million. In short, in the dream, I was standing in front of several beautiful mountains with mist in the air and lush dark green grass where I was standing. And I didn't feel cold at all, despite it seeming like a cold climate, like a wet and cold, like winter, early spring type climate. But for the first time ever, I felt what it feels like to not think of any thoughts, no voices, no intrusive thoughts, no negativity, no hate, no anger, no sadness, no hurt, no depression, no anxiety, no insecurities. I just felt unconditional love coming from something bigger than me, which I didn't know of. and I felt peace and trust in that being. And keep in mind, I had no trust or peace in anything in my life. I felt very light. I felt very light in this dream. I'm 205 pounds in real life, but I felt like I weighed nothing in this dream. I felt so light and comfortable, and just like, it's almost like shedding off like your skin in a way. It's very weird. It's like shedding off your entire body. It's interesting. You don't realize how uncomfortable it actually is being stuck inside of a body when you're outside of your body. But out of it, you feel so much more free. You feel so much more, like, very weirdly, like, just perfect. And I think that's how we're supposed to feel. But anyways, I felt like a puppy, like a golden retriever. I just running through the grass, just loving his life, with no care in the world, times a million. And I wish I could put this into words as I watch my gameplay and I almost die from a Enderman. Yeah, it's hard to take this seriously when I'm over here, just, fighting for my life in the game. Anyways, I wish I could put this into words. Really wish I could. Imagine the best you ever felt in your life times a billion. That's how I felt. It was nothing like I ever felt in my life before. It was just absolutely perfect. But I hated my life. I wanted to die. I couldn't take it anymore. I saw no meaning, no purpose, no happiness, no peace, nothing. I was so far down in darkness that this experience changed my life, my perspective forever. And so I would now spend a lot of time like going after this feeling, looking out for it, because I know it's possible now. I know I can feel that way, but how? How do I get that feeling back? How do I find that where? Like, how do I feel this way? This dream changed my life because it opened me up for the first time. For the first time, I was opened up to the spiritual realm. I was opened up to the idea of spirituality. And so I began to research into it and learn more about the spiritual in hopes to one day feel that way again, or at least go to a heaven or wherever when I die so I can feel that way. Now this led me down theistic Satanism, or more accurately I'd say New Age. And so I was finding out about meditation, astral projection, all these things. And I thought, wow, I can literally be my own god. I can raise my frequency, I can become godlike, I can be so amazing. I began to believe in this more than the Christianity that I was studying and, attending with my friend. And I still saw Christianity as meh, like it was just religion, it wasn't real, it was just a set of rules, beliefs, and nothing really more. Until I had a second low point in my life. And I don't want to make this super long, but I became homeless, living in my car, and I was out of everything. I still had no purpose, no meaning, and I realized that this New Age thing, this Satanist thing, still hasn't brought me the love that I felt in that dream, the same level of peace I felt. In fact, it's almost brought me more anxiety in a way, as I'm trying to become better and better and higher frequency and higher consciousness and all this. It made me feel kind of worse, actually, because I've put all my faith in myself. I haven't put any faith in something else. Just like how as kids we put faith in our parents, as adults we also have to put some kind of faith in someone else, not us. But who could that be? I realized that kids have faith in their parents, and that brought us a weird sense of existential peace. But as adults, where do we put our faith? In ourselves? Clearly not. And so after a few weeks of the worst my life has ever been, sleeping in freezing temperatures, feeling terrified, just homeless, paranoid, angry, hate, sad, having nobody, feeling alone, I decided, okay, I don't believe in God. I have no faith in him being real. I wanted to believe, but I couldn't. I kind of instinctively believed, but I didn't want to believe. I just couldn't. It didn't make sense logically, and I just didn't understand any of it. It didn't make sense. Why would this work out? Why would Jesus be God? Why would this? It didn't make sense to me. And so I don't believe in Christianity or Jesus. It's all stupid. It makes no sense. And I get emotional thinking about it. But one night I'm sitting there crying, just wanting to end it all again, wanting to kill myself for good. And as a last-ditch effort, I put whatever faith I had in one last message. I said, God, I want to believe in you. I want to. Please help me. Please save me. Just please. And it went something along those lines. I don't remember exactly, but it was something like that. This was the first time that I ever opened up to God. And I went to church for a year, and I went to camps, I debated Christians, I prayed, I read the Bible, went to Bible studies, listened to worship. It all felt dumb and boring and meaningless, but this time, everything changed. I never opened up to God before, I never truly believed, but this night I had no other option. This was my last ditch effort before ending my life. Oh man. And I'm telling you, the peace I felt, the love, the comfort, it was nothing like I ever felt other than the dream I had that one time. It may not have been as great, but it felt so amazing and eerily similar in how I felt and the way I felt and the faith I had out of nowhere. I spent Now I'm crying tears of joy and I'm so happy. And I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm just so happy. And I can't believe it. I'm crying from the unbelief of all this happening to me. It just felt so unreal and like otherworldly. I felt like I wasn't even on Earth anymore. I felt like I was on a different planet. So I spent a few more months homeless, but it felt totally different. I wasn't seeing myself as a failure anymore. I wasn't hurting anymore. I wasn't thinking as many negative thoughts. I didn't want to be in the dark anymore. Weirdly enough, I wanted to be around people. I wanted to wake up early and chase the light, literally, as weird as that sounds. I didn't want to listen to sad music anymore. In fact, it sounded horrible to me. I didn't want to watch TV anymore because it all looked fake to me all of a sudden and like just scripted and fake. And I didn't even really want to play video games anymore for a little while there. I didn't want to do anything of the world. I quite literally had a spiritual awakening and I became like really extreme. I wasn't cussing anymore. I wasn't doing any of these things. No more lust. None of that. And I spent the next, and by lust I mean like I don't know how to say it without getting censored. Corn, like that. And so I spent the next few months chasing that feeling, and I began to shift my research from New Age to Christianity because now I have this faith, this foundation based on experience. And I realized that this is exactly what I was looking for. I never found this in church, by the way, but from research, from watching people like Isaiah Saldivar, Vlad Savchuk, countless testimonies from people who had similar lives to me, but then turned to God. And so I suddenly had desires I never had before. I constantly wanted to talk to God. I constantly wanted to read my Bible. 1 year ago, I would fall asleep reading the Bible. I had no interest in that Bible studies. I would literally be daydreaming and thinking about other things. I didn't want to go, but I kept going. I kept trying at it, and eventually I had an encounter once I opened myself truly to God. And I found that the closer I get to God, the better I feel. The more I pray and talk to God, the more I play worship music, the more I cry out to Him, the more I read my Bible, the more I had faith and trust that the Creator of the universe is real and will take care of me and protect me, the more amazing and alive I felt. I literally saw colors more brighter and more colorful than I did before. The trees are more colorful, the sky. I felt lighter. Almost like in my dream I felt lighter. I wasn't as heavy, weirdly enough. And again, there's no like explanation for that, but that's how I felt. I just didn't feel weighted down anymore. I no longer felt heavy and dark and weary. I felt alive. At this point, I had no doubt there was a spiritual implication of all of this. I knew something deep down was kind of happening inside of me. I just didn't know what it was. I knew something took over control of my life, and I know it wasn't a bad spiritual creature. I know it had to be a good creature or a good spiritual thing, which just so happens to be God. And so, okay, why am I saying this? Why am I trying to brainwash and guilt you into believing in God and becoming Christian? No, I'm not. But I'm telling you, if only you knew how it changed my life when I had nothing else. And I've tried everything, but it changed my life in ways that nothing else could. Self-improvement didn't save me. The gym didn't save me. My business never saved me. My job never saved me. My relationships never saved me. My friends being productive never saved me. Meditation, improving my looks and fashion never saved me. Scrolling on TikTok never saved me. Video games never saved me. It was God. It was God who saved me. Whether He's real or not, and I know He's real because I talk to Him every day and I feel Him. And I know who He is, what His nature is, His personality, I know it. But even if He's not real, that same personality, that same nature of God is the basis of all objective morality, all objective good in the universe. He wrote in our hearts this objective morality, but corruption has entered the world. And the good news is that all bad, all evil, all negativity, all the pain and sadness, all negative spiritual forces will one day pass away and will no longer exist. And the bad news that people mostly can't accept is that if you are still accepting that life of all that, and you're still holding on to that sadness, that pain, the fear, the negativity, then that includes you too. You will one day pass away forever. Forever. And I don't say that to instill fear. I say that because I love you and I want you to understand that nothing in life, not even anything you can do for yourself, can truly make you feel this way, to make you feel this life. And I love you enough to say it regardless if you hate me for it. Doesn't that say anything? And there's a couple of questions I have here that I actually want to discuss, because naturally as an atheist, or as I had certain preconditioned like just arguments that just like I was so sure of, you know. And so I want to quickly like just do like a popcorn kind of round where I just go over all of them, all the ones that I was struggling with when I was becoming a Christian, all the ones that I didn't understand. And so I'm going to go really quick here. Why would a loving God destroy me forever? Because you rejected him. Why can't he just show himself to us if he's real? Because then it wouldn't be true love, it'd be out of fear, and he wants your love, true love. How do I know God is good? Didn't he kill a bunch of people in a flood? The people in a flood were pure evil, full of murder, rape, and things beyond even your comprehension. Regardless, this is the God that created you. He created your soul. He created your mind, your personality, your hands, your feet. I know if you hate your life, you may resent him for creating you, but he created you. So be thankful. Be glad he didn't do a bad thing when he made you. He did a good thing. And it's a gift that you're alive and that you're here. It really is a gift that you exist. And your presence may feel like it's ignored, like it's just not wanted in the world. But trust me, you're so valuable. You're very, very valuable to exist. You're very unique and special. You're your own person, your own soul. And for that reason, God loves you and God sees you as special, although he doesn't like the sin. He doesn't like the evil things, the bad things, but he loves you, your soul that he created. And I kind of feel that way about you too now. Like, I don't know you, but I know a lot of people I've met who are Satanists or whatever. I love them. I really do love them. Unconditionally. And it hurts to see them do things that I know is bad, because it hurts them in the end. But I have that love for them. And he loves you unconditionally. God really does exist, and he loves you unconditionally. He hates the darkness in you that's overcome you. He truly cares, though. He really does. But he leaves it up to us to come to him, to open ourselves up to him, because that shows if we truly want him or not. And if we don't want him, that's fine. He grants your wish and sends you to a place when you die that's without his presence, without him, nor the things he created. It just so happens, though, that we need his creation to survive. Food, water, rest, peace, love, joy. We need those things. And so going to a place that doesn't have God is hell. And so that's what hell is. And so God works through people like me to now turn around and save people using my story and how it changed my life. And oh man, has it changed my life. I don't know what I'd be doing if it wasn't for God right now. I really don't know. I don't know what I'd be doing without him. The things I've experienced, the things I've felt, the things I've seen, you guys have no idea. I'm sorry. So to close out this video, what should you do? You should, in my eyes, you should open yourself up to the idea of God and do your research and seek out diligently, like really seek out who God is, what good is. Understand that God is good, and so search out for good. Search out for the source of good in the universe. The source of good, the source of peace, love, joy. Look out for the source, not creation, but the source of all of that. Understand that he is a being, God is a being, just like us. We are created in the image of him. We are just He is just much higher and greater than us and outside of time and space, but he confined himself to this world as Jesus Christ to live a perfect life despite also being 100% human as well, to have pure blood to atone for all the sins when he died of whoever believes in him and his way of doing things. Any other lifestyle, any other way of life is from the spiritual enemy, which he gives you complete freedom in this life to choose to live if you want to. You can live that life, that's fine. But he grants your wish when you die. But it won't ever lead to true happiness, peace, fulfillment, or joy living that life. As someone who's been through it, it doesn't help, trust me. No amount of pleasure, no amount of distraction, no amount of purpose will ever give you that same level of existential peace, happiness, fulfillment, joy, that feeling of being a kid again. You won't feel that. Literally, colors being more brighter, colors being more vibrant and beautiful. You won't feel that again by going any other way. I know this now. Trust me, if you guys knew me 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I was very of the world. I was doing all the things you're doing, probably worse, honestly. Probably a lot darker. I can't say it on here, but it starts with an H, ends with an I. So it's like, I've been there. I've lived that life. I've listened to dark metal music that like talks about death and murder and suicide. Like I've been there. I used to love that music, and now it like hurts my like soul to listen to it. And that's who I am now. It's just that's how I've been transformed. I love now. I used to hate people. I used to hate. There's no way I'd be making this video 3, 4 years ago. And so I've been transformed. I really have been transformed. And it's possible to be transformed and to start over again in life and to just be made new and just start over. I wish somebody told me this. You can start over in life. There is a way. And this spiritual enemy, to go back on track, this spiritual enemy hates you because you are made by God, just like him, in the image of him, but he has rejected God, and so God has rejected him. And so he, as a last-ditch effort, wants to take down all of us with him to the same place he's going. And so this spiritual enemy, which it's kind of a triggering word, but the right word would be Satan or Lucifer, although I know people have like another preconceived idea of that, Satanism and all that. But yeah, he uses demons to carry out agendas in areas, countries, world leaders, and as well as personally in each person's life, in order to bring them down further and more distracted and more just away from God. And you should despise this creature for doing this to you. You deserve better. You deserve better. You deserve peace. You deserve love and happiness. But this creature hates you and is genuinely trying to bring you down and trying to kill you spiritually, trying to end you, trying to hurt you. That's who this creature is. And so I don't sympathize with him. I really don't sympathize with him because he doesn't have our best interests at heart. And if you agree with him and his belief on God, then that's fine. But just know that it's not going to be good. It's not the same. It's not the same peace, love, joy, being rebellious to the creator of the universe. It just isn't. I mean, that's just how it is. So I understand rebellion and like, oh, maybe Lucifer was a good guy. Like, I understand that perspective. I've been there. But you will never be as happy. You'll never be as peaceful. You'll never be as loving and joyful and feeling like a kid again and just feeling amazing. And so I love you and I care about you. I really do. Because God loved me and God cared for me. He found me when I was lost, and now I'm at peace. I have no fear of death. I have no fear of anything. And I want to leave you with one last thing today. And so, as the sun sets in the game and we enjoy our last minute in this world together, I want to leave you with one last thing today. Do you really want your life to change? Do you want to truly feel this way? Do you want to truly feel this way forever and ever? Are you just tired of your life and your circumstances and where you're at? Maybe you're literally thinking about suicide. Maybe you're literally thinking about ending your life. All I'm asking is that you take my story and you think about it, and that you just consider opening yourself up to the idea of a God and who that God would be. And by knowing who that God is and his personality and his nature, you can chase after him in the spiritual realm and then go from there. But that's really all I have for you guys. This might be the last video you ever watch of me. potentially, unless I make an Osu video. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a pleasure getting to know a lot of you who watch these videos, and whoever watches them in the future. They won't be privated, so if anybody wants to watch them, or save them, go for it. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. Until we meet again, peace.